All right, we are back. I just want to give you an update of where I'm at as far as these inner fender pieces are going and the progress that I'm making. I first want to show you what I came up with to start. These are my poster board templates that I came up with that are an exact fit to the 67 to 72 F100 inner fenders. Those templates came directly off of the inner fenders in my truck, and I want to show you what I ended up coming up with as far as overlays. These are the inner fender overlays that I just finished up for my truck. Now these are a one-of-one prototype that I had to work on here and there and try to just get to fit the best I can. So these are not perfect, and they're not perfect to my standards. Some other people's standards they might be, to me they're not. But this cutout over here, don't mind that cutout. That cutout is just for the alternator wire that I have in my truck that I didn't feel like moving. I already have the grommet and everything down there for the alternator wire. So on the sets that are going to be available for purchase, that notch out will not be there. That'll just be a smooth, completely smooth panel. So ignore that notch out in that panel. This is your passenger side lower, passenger side upper, driver's side lower, driver's side upper. And what I did was I wanted a panel to be able to hide wiring if you needed it. Now you don't have to hide wiring under these, but if you need a panel to hide wiring under for your engine bay, these panels will cover wiring on your factory inner fenders. And let me show you. These are factory inner fenders. Now I don't know, some other people might know. I think the 73 to 79 inner fenders are pretty close. I don't know if they're 100% the same, but that's something I'll dig into. But 67 to 72 factory inner fender. Now all these kits will come with these 1/2-inch rubber bushings that sit in here. Now that raises that panel up 1/2 inch off of this to meet these ridges of the factory inner fender. Now any wiring that you need, you can run the wiring directly in here, anywhere you want, lay the wiring anywhere you want. And the same with down here. This mount, this bulge in the factory inner fender is a 1/2 inch tall off of this surface. And same thing, rubber grommets. Now what I did was I just took a little RTV. You could use adhesive, you could use whatever you want. I just took a little RTV, put it on the back of the rubber bushing. These are the rubber bushings. These will stop vibrations, help with vibrations, I should say, and kind of make the engine bay a little bit softer feeling, so it doesn't seem so rigid on the panel. It won't harm the panel that much. It won't harm your inner fender. So they're all rubber bushings that will raise my overlays up, 1/2 inch. Same thing on the driver's side. I have 2 glued in already. Like I said, just with some RTV. You don't have to go crazy. And I want to show you how these inner fenders get laid in here. So I'm literally just laying some lines down here on this set of inner fenders that I'm building for a customer. Now this is me just basically taking my stencil that I made off of my paper template, and I have all my marks, all my drill holes, all my radiuses, everything on my my template itself, the one that I use for every one of them. So I just transferred the marks off of that onto this new one and going from there. Now what I'm doing here is, these rulers are about an inch and an eighth thick. So I use that for my offset of where I want to make my recessed panel. I just use that thickness off of that bend. That's a bend, and that's a bend. So off of the bends, the recess starts an inch and an eighth, inch and a 16th, whatever these rulers measure. Pretty straightforward stuff. I just have this radius tool that I use. It's just something that I found in my scrap pile. It's a little metal piece, but I was looking for something that was about 3 inches for a 3-inch radius, and this is 2 7/8. So I stuck a couple stickers on it, and it's super heavy too, but it's perfect for making a radius corner. And I just have a couple different marks, just to give me roughly where, this is a 90 and this is a 45, those marks. So 0, 45, 90 are just my marks all the way around. And it helps me when I'm making a radius, because I can, put this 90 and this 90 flat on the line. It's basically the easiest way possible to make a corner radius that's the same all over your panel. Now, if you have different radiuses or something, you're obviously not going to be able to use the same 3-inch radius all over your project. But for something that you need to keep pumping out the same radius all over a panel, I mean, that thing is awesome, that little thing. All right, so that one seems ready for me here. Now I just mark all of these. What I have to do is, this is a driver bottom, and both interior panels, inner fender panels, are the same exact dimensions, left to right, the way I made them. But the driver's side, I cut this back side out here, just to stay away from the steering column and steering shaft and stuff like that. I could probably squeeze it in there if I left it and maybe, cut it a little shallower, but taking this much out, it still looked really good on my truck. So that's what I have to do to this panel still. Still need to cut this corner out. And I just cut this with a regular pair of tin snips. I had a couple people ask me what snips I use. These are literally just a Milwaukee pair that I got recently. I try to frequently purchase snips, except for this pair of Old Faithful. This thing's so old, it's got flathead screws in it. Look, these are my grandfather's, and they're really just a total universal cutter. But I've sharpened these probably 3 or 4 times, just with a real fine file, just to try to keep the contour of it. And I keep them keep them lubricated. But these are my grandfather's. I mean, look how old these are. Flathead screwdriver. But these things cut so nice for radiuses. So like I use those. Like, I mean, I could do a radius with that, but trying to get a real tight radius. These, I don't know what it is, but if you take your time with them, they work really nice. I've used these before cutting straight, but they're a little harder to cut straight with, I think. But they do a really nice job on inside corners, and they're so old, and I've yet to find one that have like a nibbler tip on it like that. Like those ones over there, I don't cut with the throat of them at all. I'm not cutting back here with these, I'm cutting with this up here. And the way it maneuvers, I don't know if you know what they are. Comment down below and tell me. Or something similar that I can get snips with a nice, you know, just working the tip. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know, I'm all ears. But yeah, I mean, it cuts really nice. You know, I'll clean that up with a file and stuff, but it cuts super nice. There's like, and I can rub my finger on it after snip, so, and they're pretty old. So on the outside radiuses like this, the Milwaukee ones, they do work fine. These ones are super nice too, these Milwaukee ones. I enjoy them. I think I have a pair of Craftsman in my box as well. They work pretty nice too. You know, so yeah, I don't really use anything special. I just use what works, honestly. If it works and it makes my job easier, it makes it easier for me to fabricate a panel, then I'll use it. This stuff is really nice too. This this brushed aluminum. This side has a coating on it underneath the protective film. I don't want to remove it from this customer's panel, but it's got such a nice finish. Really nice aluminum. I really enjoy working with this stuff, but I mean, it looks like we're kind of set to start getting on the break. I've been working past couple days on a couple of these projects, and what I try to do first, I try to get everything cut out in one step. Like I have some drip rail trim here that I have to build, put together, but everything's cut out of flat aluminum. Same thing, I have this valance sitting here that has to get bent, but these are the orders that I have going out currently, and I try to do everything in the same stage, cut out with dimensions all over it. So now I know my next step is I'm gonna go to the brake and I'm gonna bend whatever I have to bend, you know, 90s and hems on my brake. And after the brake, it'll be all shrinker stretcher work and bead roller work. And that's kind of like the last piece to the puzzle is the bead rolling, and then whatever final bends I have to do. Like obviously I can't put any vertical bends, you know, on some of the inner fenders have a vertical bend that comes up. I won't do that until I'm done with bead rolling, obviously. But yeah, that's the next step. That's what I'm gonna get doing. I just wanted to show a little bit of how I do my lines and what I use for a radius. Somebody asked me the other day what I used for, you know, doing radiuses. And like I said, every radius on all of these inner fenders is just a 3-inch interior corner. So it's easy just to run that puck all the way around and keep setting my radiuses. But yeah, this is the start of of bending them and shaping them with the bead roller. And I just figured I would take you guys along for the ride here. Okay, and here you can see the finished product of everything laid out on the floor with all the recessed panel marks and all the other little projects that we have going on around the shop. But now at this point, this is where I will bring all these panels over to the bead roller and start using the bead roller to shape and form these. All right, so basically what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring everything that I have to bend on the brake, bring all that over here and get everything started that I need to bend. And just normally always wipe something down that I'm using. It's just a habit, I guess. Anything that I'm working with or working on, I feel like it's a lot easier when it's clean. Gets a little bit of my OCD, I guess. So what I'll do is I'll bring over one set of inner fenders. All this stuff is on my workbench over here. And the only thing I'm doing over here is bending hems. Just going to be a complete 180 hem bend. This is the only thing I'm bending right now. And I do my hem before I bead roll, just simply because I think it will help when you bead roll, because the bead roll stretches the metal. It kind of gives it that wonky bend because it's stretching it, especially with a recessed panel like what we're doing here. So I try to do these hems first, just because I feel like it gives the panel a little bit more rigidity when I run it through the bead roller. I think it helps a little bit with some of the metal warpage that you get. So yeah, all of this right now will just be any hem that I have to do before I bead roll. And then as soon as I'm done here, I'll go right to the bead roller, bead roll everything, and then come back for a final bend on any tall 45s or 90s. Pretty straightforward if you use a brake before. This brake is really, really old. I got this brake with my father years ago when I first started racing the modifieds. Right off the bat, that's kind of where all this started. I always built stuff and I always did things as a kid, but when I really started racing, that's when I really started getting into metal shaping and forming and really just assembling my own stuff. It was always super annoying to try to get a race car body back then when I was 19 years old, 20 years old. It was kind of annoying to try to put something together. So we found this brake and jump shear. I think it was like Southwest New Jersey, out there by the Delaware Memorial Bridge. But I found these and I've been using them ever since. Super old machines. This and my jump shear are super old, but they work. They work wonderful. So anyway, that was the first step. It's just a hem bend. Gives the panel some nice rigidity to it. That's the start of the inner fender. And I'm going to do this to every single panel in here and then get to bead rolling. All right, here we are at my homemade bead roller. All the parts on this thing are homemade. The frame of it I bought from Jegs, but I'll do a video on that another time. I just want to show you what I'm bead rolling here. So I'm bead rolling the recessed into each panel. I got my little magnetic light here. The dies that I use, a lot of guys say that these dies are harder to use when it comes to radiuses, but what I found with this die on a 3-inch radius, they work pretty well, and they don't really give me any issues until I can upgrade some of my equipment. I mean, it makes some nice recesses in the panel, and the radiuses aren't all chewed up. They're really, really smooth. So for a budget bead roller that you want to make a couple bucks on, I'll make a video on this. I just copied this design of this bead roller off of a couple YouTube videos, but you get the point. So here we go. I understand this isn't a Mittler Bros bead roller, but I didn't really come from a ton of money. I'm not a millionaire. So what we have here is a bead roller that I built by myself by watching some YouTube videos, and to be quite honest, it works really, really, really well. Could it be better? Of course. I think a lot of my equipment could be better, but for my business and for what I do, I haven't ran into a fabricating issue as far as my machines go. So until that happens, I'm going to keep using stuff that I built with my hands. And the cool thing about this bead roller with all the jobs that I've done on this thing over the years, not even just F100 related, but just jobs of, you know, race car parts and just one-off pieces, custom orders that people call me with, or templates that people give me that just need something bead rolled or something. This thing has paid for itself probably over 30 times. So this bead roller has made me a lot of money. And again, I'm not rich, but to have a side gig, and I don't really classify DFR as a side gig. I invest a lot of time and a lot of money into DFR, just because it's a passion of mine. I love building things, but this bead roller has made me a lot of money and a lot of adjustability to make cool things. And I think if you are a fabricator and you don't have a lot of money to start, I think this is the way to go. I actually had a Mittler bead roller. It was a friend of mine, and it was here for a long time, and I used it for a long time, and it was obviously very, very nice. And I'm sorry about the background noise, but I have to keep working here. But you get the idea, right? On my little homemade bead roller. Makes you some super nice panels. This top on this bead roller is a piece of diamond plate. Piece of polished diamond plate. And I just took my little die grinder with the cookie on it and hit it all over. But I made that table. I made the stand for underneath the table. I welded some bolts to some square stock, and that's an old engine cart frame. It uses a Valance 2000 winch motor from Harbor Freight. This is just a little homemade box that I have. And it has a speed controller in here. Speed controller gauge tells me where I'm running. All this stuff has to still get mounted in the face of this somewhere, so I don't have to open this up. But this does need some more cooling, holes drilled in the box and everything. But it's got the speed controller, it's got an inverter in it, and it's all just wired up. It's wired up to a cheap foot pedal off Amazon. But I'll tell you what, this thing works very, very well. And it's not bad looking either, right? Not bad for a little homemade bead roller shop. But I have one more panel to run through here really quick. And then I can get over to the finishing side of the finished bends on the brake. And once I do that, I can start packaging this stuff. Just like anything you do in life, it's about how much drive you have and how much you want to get something done. I could sit here and complain all day long that this isn't the best bead roller, but in reality, it does everything that a $5,000 bead roller does, besides the throat depth. That's the only limiting factor of this. Which on a bead roller is a big deal, honestly, in my opinion. I think the throat depth is what really limits you to what you can do. I haven't really had a project that I needed a larger throat depth. So until I get to that point, I'm gonna invest in a better one, but this one will always be in my collection. Just because it's something that I built here. What I also found to work really well, Tri-Flow industrial lubricant. This is a metal lubricant. This stuff is super, super slick. Now I know this might go against the standard of what people do, but I'm just showing you some of the tricks that I have found over the past couple years of doing some bead roller work. That spray is like an ultra slick WD-40. And it works really, really nice if you want to really roll a corner on the bead roller at speed. It just helps the die slip a little so it doesn't gouge up your project, especially when working with really thin aluminum like I'm working with. I found that it really, really helps not gouge up your corners or anything. I just have a little marker on the front of my height adjustment there that I know where to keep setting my depth at. That's what I keep going back to. I know people are probably asking. Just a little Sharpie mark on the side of that bolt that I have there. And it keeps my depth consistent across everything I'm using. And if you guys could, if you could comment down below if you like these longer style videos, that would be really appreciated. I don't know if you guys do or not. I always liked the longer style videos, but I know a lot of people don't. If you do, comment down below and let me know if you like the longer videos with me talking in the background. And we'll go from there. But I'm gonna get over to the brake here, the finishing side of all these bends, and really get this thing packaged up here. So now, like I said, now that everything is bead rolled, everything's got a bead roll where it needs to be. Now, like I showed in the beginning of the video, all the hems and everything were already done on the back side here. And look how nice that bead roller makes these recessed panels with something I made. Came out really nice. And this is brushed aluminum material, is gorgeous, right? But anyway, all the hems are already done prior to bead rolling. And then I go back through and I do all my finish bends, because obviously you can't bend with a 90-degree bend in your material. So now what I do, I'm just gonna go back and finish all these bends for final production here. And like many of you know, all my stuff in here is handmade. Everything in here is built out of, starts as a flat sheet of aluminum. And just gets made into what I'm looking to build by my hands and my machines. But every machine I have in here is mechanical. Nothing in here is computer operated. And now what I'm doing here, this is just my bend. This is a top panel, top inner fender overlay. This inner fender overlay, I use this little template here. This is the bend that I need to get in this panel. It's just another rough bent piece of aluminum, and I will bend this inner fender up to that template that I have. Very, very simple. Very, very straightforward. Keeps everything pretty uniform. Like I said earlier, could it be better? Probably. But it's a pretty nice piece for you know, the average consumer, I think. And that's the driver's side top inner fender overlay, built out of all brushed aluminum. And like I said, this is a protective film, this blue film, but that's what the material looks like underneath. I just keep the protective film on it for the customer. Leave the holes that I used in all of these. I don't drill any of these holes because maybe these holes are maybe off by a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch on your project, but I'm just going to put all the holes on these projects that I use, and you're more than welcome to drill them. That more than likely they're going to work on your truck as well. If you have a set of factory inner fenders in your truck, mine are built directly off of the F100 factory inner fender, so more than likely your truck, you could just run a 1/4 inch drill bit through every hole that I already have marked for you and install them, really. Sorry if I keep stalling in between conversation here, but same thing. Panel goes in, my template bend stays where it's at, and I'm just going to bring this panel up to my template. Super simple, guys, super simple stuff. Template may move a little bit, but this is super simple stuff. I have faith that all of you guys can do this if you have a break. Take my template out, so I'm done with that. Put that to the side. This is just the upright bend on the inner fender. This will go to the vertical section of your factory inner fender. And there's the passenger top. So the finish bends go super quick because everything, all the hard part is already done. These are the bottoms. This is the passenger bottom. This is recessed for the top overlay. And I'm just gonna get my bottom bend down here now. And same thing, I have a template for this as well. Same thing, this is just a scrap piece of aluminum with a bend in it, but that's the bend that I need. That's the angle that I use. And like I said, guys, this is just how I do things in here. Everybody works in their shop. Everybody works in their shop their own way. I don't judge how other people work in their shop. Because everybody has their own set way of how they do things. You know? But that's just how I do it, right? So there's the passenger inner fender overlay, and like I said, the upper inner fender overlay will lay into this groove here. They look really cool. They're really nice, really clean finished look. I'm just gonna bend up to my template. And that's the inner fender overlay for the driver's side. All right, well that's basically how the inner fenders get assembled. If you guys have made it this far, I appreciate it. But Yeah, that's how the lower inner fenders and the upper inner fenders get built. I have a valance that I'm gonna get working on. I'll show you how I bend them. Drip rail trim that I have to package up, and I have to package up all this stuff. But I just wanted to show you quick how we assemble these inner fenders. Like I said, everything's built by hand. There ain't nothing in here that's built with computer operated machines or anything. But I'm gonna get going on running my front valance that somebody ordered through the bead roller, and getting that thing final bent and running some dimple dies through it. So stick around for that. Like I said before, comment down below if you like these videos of me just talking a little bit more. If not, I mean, I won't do them, I guess. But I just wanted to show. I had a couple people ask how I did certain things, but it's pretty straightforward stuff, right? So that's your lower inner fender overlay. Your upper inner fender overlay will lay into this groove, and it just sits there smooth. If you wanted to add any more bolts or screws, you could, but it's not necessary. And I have a couple other things I have to get going here. I have finished packaging up some other products and stuff that were on our website, make a couple t-shirts, run the bead roller again with the valance, and run it through some dimple dies. So stick around for that. All right, we're back over here. What I have to do, I need to change the dies from what I used for the stepper die on the inner fenders, and I'm gonna run it just to a standard bead. Super simple how I do this. This is just a piece of black gas pipe that I welded a washer to as my pin. Holds my table up. I can totally remove this whole table if I want, if I didn't want to use it. I just have an Allen key here that I keep a string on. Just break these set screws loose. They come directly off. Obviously, if you guys are watching this, you probably know how dies come off of a bead roller. I don't know why I'm really explaining it to you, but hey, you never know, right? I just center my top die with my bottom die. Very simple stuff, very simple stuff. Run my pin back through for my table. Keep my light on. And we're gonna get to bead rolling on this front valance. This is the back side of the front valances that I build. This is a 3/4 offsetted line. This is where my bead will run, and it runs down the whole panel. And I will show you how that goes through. Really the same concept here. The only thing different with these valances that I like to do is I like to run a guide, so it makes my straight line. So it makes my line super straight. That's basically what I will do now. I'm just gonna lay this down. I have a piece of flat aluminum angle that I put on here. Very simple stuff. This is my guide. So it can't move. Get it to where it roughly looks right. And we'll just go for it. That's the way we like to do things. Everything's done by eye. Looks pretty straight so far. My valance will stay against the guide. I just hold pressure against the guide. Light pressure. Gives you a nice straight uniform line. You can build quality stuff in your own garage. If you just take a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing as you're doing it. Put on some 90s NASCAR in the background. I know you guys probably all saw that. And what's really cool about it, it gives you a nice finished bead just for stability. Makes this panel super strong. Nice radius to it that follows it. And now I'm going to run this through the final bending process in the brake. This is going to be my top flange, will be bent first. This top flange is a complete 180 hem. This is where a majority of the strength in this panel comes from. This top 180 bend here. I guess you could say this is like the backbone to this panel. And we just 180 hem this. Alright, real nice. Try not to cut your fingers. The bottom of this panel also gets a 180 hem. And I'm going to show you where the majority of the strength really does come from. So 180 hem along the bottom of my valances. Now there's a lot of people that question the strength of them because they were built out of 040 sheet, but I've worked at 040 aluminum for a really long time, probably the past 10 years. So that's 2 hems on the back side of this valance. Bottom hem 180, top hem 180, but this is a 2-inch hem. And I'm gonna show you what we do to this to really get some strength out of this after I bend these corners. The ends of each front valance for us also get a 180 hem. So all 4 corners of my valance is a 180 hem. So now, not only do we have all 4 corners of the panel hemmed, so this is a double 040 piece of aluminum with a bead roll along the front, And now this is the finish bend that will mount to your chassis. And this is where the strength of this panel really comes in. And this is why it doesn't move with how I've designed this valance to direct airflow. This is a super lightweight aluminum. Not only is it a performance part, but it's also a stylish part. This is getting bent over a double hem, and double, I'm saying double thickness of aluminum. So it's double thickness of 040 that will get a 90-degree bend, or a 45 or a 48, I forget what the actual. Now that gets bent right into the panel. This is me just feeling the panel out, making sure it's nice and uniform all the way across. Release my brake. And that's the finished version of the DFR valance. Now this would be classified as a smooth valance. There'd be no dimple die holes put in it. This is your mounting location for your bolt holes for your chassis. Backside is 180 hem, double bent. So now the rigidity of this panel that you're mounting to your chassis is mounting through 2 layers of 040 aluminum. It's got a bottom 180 hem, side 180 hems, and also with a bead roll that runs along the front. This thing is super strong, super lightweight. Really, really, really cool product. All right, so this is everything all bent and finished and ready for packaging. This is obviously 2 orders of inner fenders that are going out. These are for the 67 and 72 F100 factory inner fenders. These lay directly over it. I do a video on that. That's what everything looks like, all finished up, laying on the floor prior to packaging. Up on top of the other bench here, this is the DFR aluminum drip rail trim with the dimple die holes. These come with all hardware, all stainless bolts, stainless washers, grade A locking nuts. So that's ready to go. And also a custom drip rail trim for the F100. That's all ready to go as well. I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, it really does mean a lot. If you like these style videos, shoot me a message. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. I'm always answering questions on there, and just trying to be more active, you know, in the community. I know these videos are recorded vertically. I use an iPhone for this. I know it's probably not the best thing for YouTube, but I do post a lot on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So it just makes it easier for me to record in one direction and be able to post these videos everywhere. Kind of is what it is thing at the moment until I can get a person in here to help me, which we all know that's impossible. But I want to thank you for watching. These are all my products. All these products are listed on our website. If you have an F100 or anything that you are interested in our products, please message me. I do have some discount codes for new customers, first-time purchasers. And if you ever need anything custom built, you're more than welcome to mail me a template, a paper template, a cardboard template, an aluminum template, whatever you want to mail me. Mail it to me, and I will make it for you out of aluminum sheet, and I'll send it back to you. But I want to thank you guys, and I'll see you soon.
More shame, I done bled on the wheel, cried in the dark, but I came out swinging with a flame in my heart.